BassResinator here. Can you guess what I am doing? Probably not from this angle. This is the building of a worm. I'm using UV UV resin. Let me take it this angle from Counterculture DIY. And I'm going to lay a foundation of white. It's going to end up going in this mold. This, well, you can't see it with this camera, but this camera. I've got two cameras going, yeah. So I've got to get the bottom layer of this. And I've got to make it in little sections. You'll see why in a bit. Now let me cure that. I had some other, this is an old piece of used up silicone mat. Apparently I had some colorful stuff on there. Look at that. That is so funny looking. I'll let this cure for a bit. And then I'm gonna go, now I used the white, now I'm gonna mix up some other color. Okay, let me flip that over. That should be cured enough to where I can do this. I will end up putting it into under a machine, my big UV lamp, and cure this much better on both sides, but I just want it to have a toehold, so to speak. Okay, now I just poured some. Do that right now. That's awfully big in this one screen. I squirted in some UV resin from letsresin, and I'm going to put a drop of yellow resin dye. I'm going to go 2 drops of resin. Come on, lid, get off of there. 2 drops. Oh, I should say that this is part of a collaboration with MiniScenesGB, the summer crafting collaboration, and this is Christmas in July. Christmas in July with a worm. Okay, you'll see, it'll make sense. It will make sense. I'm going to use that caramel color in just a little bit. I'm going to go over the top of this yellow, this white with the yellow. Well, it's just staying right in place. This is the letsresin hard type UV resin that I'm using here, that I mixed this yellow in with. And it's just staying put. I was hoping it would slide over the edge so that I could have a connector. There's one going over the edge. This is the formation of a grub worm. This is fun. I don't know if you've ever seen grub worms up close. They're really kind of nasty, and they're kind of scary because they have a couple legs that have some serious claws, because I guess that's how they move around underneath the dirt. But if they latch onto you, start, especially little kids, they start screaming and running all over the place. Anyway, they're sort of translucent, and they sort of have white stuff inside of them. Kind of gross. Okay, and like I said, I'm going to cure that from the other side. Now, I'm going to add a drop of caramel, or caramel, depending on what part of the world you're from. Wow. You know what? I'm going to do two, because I did the yellow and it came out awfully pale. Now watch this be too dark. If it's too dark, not a problem, because I need an area where it's going to be really dark. So this mixes with that yellow, causing it to have a, like a molasses, not as dark as molasses. Have you ever seen honey that's gotten old and has gotten crystallized and stuff? It almost turns this color. Okay, one drop there, one drop there, just to add a touch of color there, and then up in the front, that's the front, that's its head. There is a plant that grows most of Mexico and a lot of places in the southern United States. It does grow around here. It goes by different names, but the scientific name is agave. A-G-A-V-E. Agave. People around here call them century plants because they bloom like once every 4, 5, 6 years. But it seems like so long in between it blooming. They say it takes a century. You do not want to run into one of those in the dark. Oh my word. They have some serious thorns on them. I'll show a picture in this video of what an agave looks like. I'm going to grab another tool here. I said that, but I don't see it. Well, let me do this part yet first, and I will try and find it. This is black UV resin, and I'm going to draw some legs with this, but I need that smaller tool. Of course, it's all the way in the back of the thing. And the reason I'm mentioning agave is they have these little grubs that some people call worms. And that's what I'm trying to refashion here. Okay, that should do it. And that extra little black will probably harden up, but that's okay, because I got his legs in place. I'm going to put that under the bigger lamp now. I'm done with the UV section of this this project, so I'm going to put my tools right there that have UV resin on them. And I have a light bulb that keeps going out and it's really annoying me. Don't want that resin on me, but I want those wiped off. Okay, so agave worm, why? Let me back off with this. I have this trying to zoom out. Come on now. I have this bottle mold. The top of it's down here. So you can build a little ship in there and make it look, but it'll be solid. I did make one of these with a fish in it, and it looks kind of cool. I don't drink alcohol. I don't condone debauchery or drunkenness. I'm not going to condemn people who do drink for with a meal or something like that, but I think drunkenness to me is not a good thing. It leads to all kinds of accidents. I've had some bicycle friends get killed by drunk drivers and such, so I'm really down on drunkenness. But at Christmas time, some people give the gift of alcohol. I've never done that. But if I were to give alcohol, that was quotation marks, it would be something like this, where it can't be consumed. And so what I thought about doing is I'm going to make a bottle of tequila. And this is going to be the agave worm. Tequila is made out of the agave plant. It's fermented agave liquid out of the agave plant. It is a big succulent. Some people around here call them cactus. They're not really a cactus, but they're succulents. And they you can squeeze them, and they have a lot of moisture in them. And they squeeze that out, and then they take that juice and ferment it, and it becomes tequila. Or there are other variations of it depending on how high of alcohol content is desired in the final product. But I'm going to create a bottle of tequila, and and they don't put worms in them anymore, but they used to. I think it happened by accident. It was like, oh no, there's a worm. And somebody else said, oh, it's good. So they just left them. But now there's people saying it's not healthy and stuff. Anyway, I don't know. Like I said, I don't drink. But so I'm going to have my own little agave worm in this bottle of tequila. And then after I finish with the resin, I am going to paint an agave on the outside of the bottle. And so, yeah, this is fun. It's fun for me. It's a fun way that I can participate with those who do consume alcohol, that I'm not left out of the picture. A lot of times people don't invite me to parties, or my wife and myself, because they know we don't drink, and so they're like, they're not going to invite them. I would go, and I wouldn't consume it. I'd get a Coke or something, but anyway, that's beside the point. This is an agave worm. If you look it up online, it'll look something like that. Anyway, yes, I'm having fun here. Christmas in July. To show you how much I don't drink. Some people have a shot glass or something around. All I've got is these little plastic Dixie cups. I put some clear, hard UV resin, and there's some bubbles. Just a second. I'm going to make my own shot glass. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep twisting and coating the inside of this. Hopefully it'll work. Get some back on the bottom. I've seen people do this with sphere molds to make a hollow globe. So that's what I'm doing here. Making my own shot glass. I can see it coating the sides right now. Now to figure out how to do this. Okay, I am going to reach right in front of the thing and bring over my beast. Hopefully that white is translucent enough to go through and cure some of that. I'm looking at it from the side right here. I'm waiting for it to stop moving. Maybe this won't work. Or maybe it's getting thicker every time I go around. That would be slick. My dad used to do some resin work way back when, but there were no molds. He'd just go get the epoxy. Man, that stuff, and back in the old days, it stunk to high heaven, the epoxy did. I don't know if this is working or not. Oh, come on now. I got an idea. Turn this one on, put that one back a little bit, and get at it from both angles. Well, that's solidified it. Just got to get smarter than the average. Smarter than the average bear. Hey, boo-boo. That may be too old for some of you. Yogi Bear. Whoa, that side is hot. Yeah, I think I got it to work. I'll come back in just a bit. Well, I put that under the lamp for a while. I'm going to see if I can break it free from this plastic. Oh, look at there. Looky, looky. Oh, I had a piece of that. That's where I was pouring it in from. Well, maybe I'll be able to figure out something to do with that. Okay, slice down a little bit more. And I have my vacuum chamber. It's throwing stuff at me. Out in the garage, and I was getting the bubbles taken out of the resin that I'm going to be pouring in. And I have this old piece of wood that was railroad tie. Look at that. It worked. It worked. Let me cut that little bit right off right there. And it's a piece of wood that, let's say, has character. Can't be used for much of anything other than weird projects like this. So I am going to chip off the end of one of the end of it, a little section about that big, and that's going to be my serving tray. And I'll put some resin on it. There you go. If you need to make a shot glass, it even says 3 ounces on them. I'm having way too much fun. Okay, so now let me pour this in here. Hopefully I'll have enough to where I can put some in there. If not, I can always make a little bit more. Now, just because you have a vacuum changer or one of those bubbleless machines doesn't mean you won't ever have a bubble, but they're very few and far between, and they're easy to pop because they're floating. I did put, this is a little over 200 grams of resin. Well, maybe I'll have just the right amount, and I'll have to mix up some more. I want to leave a little bit in here. This is deep pour resin from Unicorn Art. Can I put that? Will that work in there? I have a little bit. Oh, that's not really enough. Anyway, I want to leave a little bit in here so that when that cures up, then I can put a little bit more with a magic resin to finish that off and put the worm in. I don't want to put the worm in now because he'll go all the way to the top, and he's supposed to be at the bottom. So, okay. Now I can see a bubble hanging on this. That's where these little tools come in. Get off the side. You decide what to do. I say no staying on the sides. Okay? I don't know why I'm using that type of an accent. I just decided to. I don't see any more hanging down there. Just right along the top. They floated up and then got stuck on some irregularity on the side of the mold. Trying to coax them into the middle. But anyway, this is Unicorn Art Deep Pour. I really like it because you can pour more than 4 inches without any problem. However, You can't get it on the Unicorn Arts website anymore. The only place you can get it is Amazon, and that's until they run out of their stock, and then you're out of luck because they're not making it anymore, or at least for the time being. Yeah, left that other job. Oi! Stay. Now, long-handled lighter. So, but I've always liked Unicorn Arts deep pour. It leaves a really clear finish. There's still a couple bubbles hanging on the edge. I'll take care of that while you don't need to see me doing that. But I did add in that little over 200 and it was about 220 grams of resin. I put 2 drops of that yellow resin dye just to give it a somewhat of a little bit of a color. So yep, that's all she wrote for now. Just grab that piece of wood that I was talking about and put some UV resin on it. It's really sucking it in, and then I'm going to get it in the sun just a little bit and let it cure up, and then I'll do the other side. Isn't that pretty wood? That's a mesquite. Yep. Lots of bugs were crawling around in this. It's rotting severely, but that's going to be my tray. This is getting exciting. Notice I have the wooden plank already done. The little tequila shot already done. My worm is done. This is done. Now I just need the last little bit, and I'm using magic resin, magic resin, art resin, and I'm gonna set this little critter in there. So let me zoom in just a touch here and zoom out here. Whoop, wrong way. Well, I can't go anywhere. Maybe if I go up here. You can sort of see it from the side. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit of this down. Get my rag ready. I UV resined this wood, and I let it soak in, and then I just took it outside and let the sun get it. Okay, now I didn't want to put this dude in there too early. Because I thought he might get bubbles underneath him. So I put a little bit and let him move around as the resin goes in there. And if he floats, that would be awesome, because he needs to be at the bottom. And this right here is the bottom of the bottle. And if he's floating just a little bit above that, that's totally fine. I know that's going to shrink back a little bit, so let me top that off pretty good. Looking to see, where's that tool? There's a dog hair on there. Getting the very edge of the previous pour to make sure no bubbles are hanging out there. Sometimes they do that when you do layers. I showed a picture of this worm or this grub to a friend of mine. He goes, man, that looks real. And I said, wait till you see it in the bottle. So only a couple people know what I'm doing with this before it goes live on July 13th, 3:15 Central Standard Time in the US of A. And that's 9:15 p.m. in the UK. I had to do some research. And I'm going to set it as a premiere. It looks like it could almost use just a touch more. One drop more. Here we go. Okay. Now it's just sit and wait. I can't wait to unmold this. It's going to be so much fun. Then the hard part is, for me, this is June 20th. I'm doing this almost a month in advance. It's going to be really hard for me to keep this a secret. So my family will probably know about it, but I'm going to hold them to it, and that's it. So, okay, we'll see you on unmolding time. All cured. Oh, this is... I've been thinking about this design ever since I heard about this collaboration that's going to be taking place. And she said, Christmas in July. And I'm like, yeah, people that drink alcohol, I know it's a big treat to give and receive. Yeah. Some of you have seen the plight that I have of having fingernails, or having them, but not very long. There. Hooked up. Oh, that tore a little bit. Well, good grief. Bummer. See if I can roll this down. The worm looking from the top looks pretty cool, but from the side is hard to tell what it is. Ta-da! Okay, now roll this back the other way. just remember to be very careful when I'm unmolding that, because it's got that little tear on it. Looking straight down. Oh, let me just look at it. Straight down, you can see that worm. Let's go this way. Can you see it? Oh. See it. Man, this is ridiculous. There. Okay. Now, I need to do a little artwork on here. And I'm going to do, I've got these acrylic paints that were supposedly put together by a veteran, a U.S. veteran, not veterinarian, veteran. And I always like helping veterans whenever possible. So, now, it's the first time I've used. Boy, this brush is hard, and I've never used it. Goodness. Okay, let's work you out. There we go. That was stiff. Wow, that was pretty weird. Flattened out. Side a little bit. I can see that little bit of line where I had the different from deep pour to regular. Okay, I don't need much more of that because that's just the back color, the outline-ish that I'm going to be using. Now, so I should have left that open. So I don't get in trouble with copyright. Do a little bit of calligraphy on here. The name of the species of the plant, agave, is not copyrighted. I don't know how you copyright the name, but the name of the tequila I do not like this. Making too, I put just a little bit of pressure. And definitely not going to use a font that that the alcohol uses. And it's definitely not. But then, to get away from it, I'm not going to go in Spanish. I'm going to use an Italian. You know, if I do it that way. I really need to wipe that A up there and the G off. Let me hopefully, let me get that wet. How does that look? It sounds like it's raining again outside. Okay, now let that sit for a bit. Agave azzurri. Okay, rinse that out. need something white behind it so I can see it better. There we go. And there's a little bit. You know what? I've got those little. That's what I can use. Yeah. I don't know why I didn't think of these earlier. I made a mess out of that. Christmas in July. Thank you to all my subscribers and followers. If you're a follower and not a subscriber, why aren't you a subscriber? It's free. Click subscribe. Join this club. You never know what in the world I'm going to come up with next. Please click the link in my description, or at the end I'm going to have a little tag so you can go along and see all of the other collaborators in this artwork, this Christmas in July. Let everybody enjoy this bountiful viewing, not just what I do, but what others do. It's going to be a lot of fun.